Hi, Michael. Good day to you.
Hi.
My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for that podcast called You're Worthless. Read that again, Juxtaposition of Your Soul. So I'd like to say thank you very much for actually reaching out the first time and to want your story to be, shared and to actually just want to meet new people like myself, like a small my podcast is new so to be honest, I'm pretty thrilled when you reached out. And yeah, I just want to check which part of the world are you in. Like, I know you're in the US, but which part of the US?
I'm actually in Costa Rica, which
Oh,
is
wait, Central America.
Central America.
Ah,
Central America.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Nice, nice,
We
nice.
have we have durian here too, like
Yeah,
like you do in
durian.
Malaysia.
Right. So how often do you eat it?
As much as possible, but I don't feel so good afterwards because I eat too much and I get, you know,
Really, it's got that heat aftermath,
heats
right?
up in the stomach, and it just feels like it's a bit much, but it sure is good.
Okay, great. To be honest, it's a fruit that I don't really fancy, but
Ah,
I can still take it. But I got a lot of my friends, they love it.
yeah, very
Yeah.
addictive for me.
What time is it at your side right now?
8:35 a.m.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for actually saying yes. This is very
Ah,
early for
don't
you.
worry. Uh,
Okay.
no, I get up early. Trust me.
Okay, okay. All right, so I'm just going to read a bit of introduction about yourself to our listeners. Yeah. So we have here today Michael McGinnis Jr., also known as the Jungle Rider, who is an author to a series of books, two of which have been published. Book one, which is The Essential Revolution, and book two, The Invitation. He is also an entrepreneur. I don't know if it's a was, or maybe is, a surfer, and also a race car driver at one point of his
Was
life. Was,
yeah,
okay.
was on the race car. Yeah.
Right. Michael right here has dedicated his life to the awakening of humanity on a global level, the very essence of his books. So, Michael, tell us about a bit about yourself before we dive deep into the topic today.
Um, well, I grew up in California and I moved down here when I was 23. And so that's been over 30 something years now. And I've gone through all kinds of life changes and transformational experiences that have really shifted my perspective on life. And I would say that I've kind of done a lot of the doing of life and getting and chasing after, and it sort of led me to a very empty place inside. All experiences that I don't regret, all of it's fine, but then I was touched by something else, and something shifted greatly within me, and I ended up becoming a writer, and we could call a coach, a speaker, like, and really being at service for others that are ready to have an experience in some way, or at least note that there's more to this life than what we're looking at, and the physical and survival and and yeah, I really enjoy now what I do quite a bit.
Okay. So, what are you currently working on now?
I'm getting ready to do the Audible for book number two, The
Ah,
Invitation. The book number one is already on Audible, but we're about ready to start that, and it's a multiple narration novel. So I need like a production team to help find the people. So we're getting that all straightened out, and I'll probably start recording next month, I hope. And then in December, I will be writing book three of The Essential Revolution, which will be called The Summoning. So this is a series, just to be clear.
wow. So, okay, wait. I'm straying a little bit on the questions that I have for you. So, how long do you actually take to write a book?
This one took like 4 years. I started in 2017. This
Wow.
one took less than a year, I think, because once you do it, then you figure it out. You become better and better and faster at it, and also using the help out there that's out there to make things go quicker. And I learned a lot, and I think that the third one will even go faster. It's like it's being downloaded anyway, so I just basically sit there and the thing comes through, and yeah, you use your mind, of course, and all that, but it's not. It never ever do I have writer's block, not once ever. It just goes. And there's a time when it tells me, okay, it's time to write the next book, and I go, okay, and I sit down and bam, and then it happens. It's not like there's and it sounds terrible to say this maybe, but there's no effort.
Really? So it's like
Yeah,
it's like a
not hard.
it's like a message that it's like an intuition. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
write my next book.
yeah. And they're fiction, and I really enjoy it, and I enjoy to see what happens as the words come through and the story that just comes through. And so it's like I'm watching the movie as well, and I'm in the story, or I'm observing these characters. And yeah, it's been quite the gift for me, to be honest. My father's a novelist. Yeah,
Wow.
and my mom's written a book, and so there's probably something in the genes there.
Right. So okay, could you please give us a sneak peek of what book one and book two is about? Like I read a little bit about the summary, but I'd like to hear it from the author himself.
The books are what we call allegorical fiction, meaning that there's it's sort of there's some mysticism in there and some very very strong messages,
Mm.
um, and they're designed to help people wake up and but in a very kind of sneaky way because it's fiction and it's dramatic and all these things are happening and then these characters are going through all this, and basically the story is about the literally the awakening of the individual and then the awakening of the planet and the world shifting completely, and that hasn't happened yet because I just finished book two and we're in the throes of all of the players who want to stop this, and and it's very much happening in today's time. Book two, it's like literally all of it, all the from the AI, from the then the worries about that, from the separation tactics that the media is using, from the separation within ourselves where we get divisive with another because this person didn't do this and this other person voted for that, and so that's all in there too. And our hero um, kind of helps us see beyond that in a way. And he's a young man, very young guy, and just kind of was brought to planet Earth as a messenger, for lack of a better term. And yeah, I mean, I let people read the book, so don't blow the story
Yeah, yeah,
or
spoiler
listen to
alert.
it. Yeah,
Okay. So, yeah, you were mentioning that the book is fiction, right? Instead of nonfiction. For
right.
me, like I do read a bit, and then I like sometimes when I read about spiritual awakening, normally people would choose that as a nonfiction, right? But you chose fiction. Why did you choose fiction to get your message across? Like, do you think that the analogy of a fiction book will get more resonance to people of their own state?
I did not choose it; it chose me. I yeah,
Oh wow! Okay,
honestly,
that's a
yeah,
good
like
one. That's a good one.
yeah, no, it was like one day he goes, "Here's a story," bam, and it just went from the top of my head down, and I was just like, but I don't know how to write. Yeah, you do. Okay, and I
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
it. Some
exactly. It's like I don't know how to write. Like, I don't know how to
I
do
don't know how
this.
to write. I don't even, I mean, like, I can read, but it's like people looking at it going, "Hey, this is pretty good," And so I went, "Really?" And we just kept going and going, and these books came out, and they're good. I have to say, because everyone says they are, and they're not lying to me. And there's reviews out there, and I like it, and there's a lot of help from editors with like punctuation because I'm not good at that stuff, but yeah, no, it shows me, and it's very much like the Celestine prophecies or the Alchemist
Mm.
or
Okay,
yeah,
love.
or Don Miguel Ruiz's book, like what was that one called? Carlos Castaneda, that kind of that
Mm.
theme of fiction. So I do think that it's a very effective way of making available concepts and ideas that maybe people have never heard of. And I really believe that my books are for people who are like, wait, what's all this? What's going on here? What's this thing called awakening? I hear people talk about
Yeah,
my
yeah,
books.
yeah,
My
yeah.
books are for them, yeah, and they're also for the more experienced person that's on the journey already, because it's
Who's already they've begun their journey there. We
yeah,
call
they
it
could be well in it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, they could be
they're
well in
already
it. Yeah, because there's plenty of reminders. There's plenty of like, oh wow, I forgot about that. There's also ways for people to stay in a practice of recognizing what's happening in their perception that's in the book, that's in a fiction, in the fiction. But that's why a lot of people say it's not really fiction, and a lot of people say that. I say, yeah, but it is, because there's a story there. These people do not exist, so it is. And then again, in a way, it's not. You could say that, you know.
it's a yes and a no thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you were mentioning that you had transformational experiences, right? So my podcast talks about a lot about transformation and also about self worthiness. So can you share with us? Can you share with us your experiences? And among these experiences, have you ever at one point maybe lost your sense of self due to some traumatic event? And how did those experiences help shape you today?
Yeah, the title of your podcast is "You Are Worthless," right?
Worthless.
Right.
Worthless.
That's right. That's
But I
right.
asked people to read that again. I said that. You're
No,
worthless. Read that again.
yeah, I
Take
had a
it
very
back.
interesting childhood. An interesting childhood that was a bit rough, and I believed some things that weren't true because of some things that were said and kind of, by someone else. And when I was young, and I went and had like to a seminar. It was very transformational, and in essence, they say the same thing, that life is empty and meaningless, and we are worthless at the core, but we give worthiness. We could say it the way this way, through our perception, and we shift everything, because basically this is just a big empty slate here that we're all facing, that
Mm.
this life here is, there's nothing here, it's an illusion, but then we come in and we make meaning out of it, and we're creators, right? The creator created us in this image, um, and so we become the creators, and then we can create worth, because it's just a concept, and then we can live from that. So yeah, I really liked it. Actually, like the title, it really drew me. That's why I got a hold of you. I'm like, this is cool. Is
Thank
that
you.
kind of what you meant by it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to record the reaction of those guests when they actually come up, and they said, one of them said, "Is this a satirical podcast? Like you're talking bad about people, worthless people?" And I said, "No, it's actually the opposite. It's like it's this narrative that I had sad to say on myself the last couple of years after also a traumatic event that happened, and then I started questioning, like you mentioned, I was chasing things, I was chasing something outside externally to fulfill me. And then when that traumatic event happened, which was my divorce, I started to think that what is life, what is its meaning. And also for in terms of career, I started early, so I wanted to achieve my goal at when I hit 30. So and I achieved it, and then what after that? Like I thought 30 was like everything. Like I should have settled down, should have kids, I should have this and that, and I didn't know what to do after 30. And so that sort of like started my whole journey of looking inward. So I went into tarot, everything, astrology, you name it, quantum physics. Like I freaking hated physics when I was in school, but right now it's like physics is everything. The fact that I'm sitting here right now is physics and also mathematics, right? So yes, and okay, coming back to the title, it's like yeah, it's you're worthless, but I said it's to me in essence you are actually not worthless. So that's the juxtaposition of your soul. So that's why I name it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, we could even say that, like, there's a paradox here that
Yes.
we're that we're that this little blip on the screen of our lives, and which there will be many of our soul's journey. That we could say, hey, you know what? This whole thing is worthless. Don't worry. This is just a little for infinity, right?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, the cosmic implications of what's happening right now in the world and our part and we chose to come here is huge. So it's a paradox. It's crazy, right? And
Yes.
yeah, I think it's really important. For me, I love the fact that you can get to this place where you can see the paradox in it and you can play in it. And at that point you start to get a little less worried about it all, because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I don't know what it's like
Oh,
in
to be
Malaysia.
honest, I am still
Yeah.
worried. Like, I'm worried, but it's like I'm letting go. It's like, okay, there are things that I cannot control. I'm just gonna have faith and just do my part. Like, yeah. Even today, I heard that this news about um in Hong Kong, in Morocco, earthquakes. I'm like, okay, what what are we? Yeah, what's happening? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I mean, it's good for us to realize also that no matter what, this is a limited experience, in this body.
that's true
Like,
in this body exactly because
yeah,
we're eternal.
we're eternal for sure. There's
The
no doubt about
soul
it.
is
Like,
eternal. Yes.
yeah. And so if we know that it's limited time on planet Earth, then okay, I don't know. Is it really that? Yeah, we all want to be comfortable, and we all were used to this comfort. Like, I came up in the '70s, as a kid, and I can tell you, the way to live back then for me, and I had it great. I mean, yes, I had the things happen, but the lifestyle of always riding around on bicycles, and there was no internet and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, and you know, I don't know. I think things are, everything changes, and that's what's happening, and we have to let go, as you said, and let go of our attachment to what was, and
Oh
let
yeah.
go of our attachment of the fear of what might be. And
Mm.
at the same time, I like being very conscious of what's happening and going, oh, really? That's what you're doing now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, really? You're going to bring that back, and you think that's okay? Because you got to be aware. I'm
Yes.
not one of these woo-woo people that says, no, no, all is God, all is God. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. That's what they call that, bypassing.
Yeah.
I'm not a spiritual bypasser. I'm here to, like, go, wow, look what the opposite of capital L love is doing now. Oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then if you think about it again, uh, the Earth, it's been here for like billions of years, right? And we're just come on, it's just in years time, and whatever it is that you're thinking right now, it's like the biggest problem in the universe. Like you tend to like magnify it, and then you when you put yourself in a perspective, it's like come on, it's just you're just a tiny fraction of the second. So you know what? Relax, just chill. But I do catch myself sometimes thinking about the problems, and then but having that awareness to pull myself out of it and okay, put myself back into perspective. This is where you need to be. So yes, and then we
Yeah.
were
Then,
talking about yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
carry on.
those problems are out there, and I'm a kind of a guy that likes to look at solutions. And for
Mm.
me, the solution is our connection to God. Like I have to say the word, which I know when I was younger, it was really hard for me to say. I was raised an atheist,
Oh,
and then something happened, and and it really is a connection. And if people don't like that word, just use whatever word you want to put in there because there's no explaining what we're talking about here. It's not some man with a white beard, but our connection to, you could say, love, capital L, love, and like, and you say, well, what is that? Well, what do you feel when you look into the eyes of your child? What do you feel when you get out in nature and you're like seeing this river's like, and all of a sudden you kind of
yeah,
zone out and you're like, wow, what's going on here? That's what that
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
It's the thing that heals the cut, that keeps the blood running through your body. It's that force, that energy, and it's bigger than anything that's way beyond that. I'm just like,
Oh,
I'm just
yes.
saying, like, just know that there's more. And you are more than this. This is just
Yeah,
you
that's
in this
this.
really weird place
Like,
going, oh, this is interesting. Oh, that hurt. Oh, wow, that was beautiful. That's what you came here to have an experience, so that the one that created, is going in there and it's having this experience of itself in all these different ways. And no matter what you've done or will do, you are loved, period. Period. There is
and
forgiveness is already there. There is just, that's not even something we need to talk about. It's done. Forgive yourself. Go out there and say you're sorry to who you got to say it. Change your life. Listen to the way you speak to yourself in your head and what comes out of here. Fix it the second you make an error. Your inauthenticity, mine as well, by the way. Like, I'm always like looking at this and I do things. I'm like, oh my God, you just lied. Yeah, you're not supposed to lie. You're
yeah,
writing books
exactly.
about this stuff. It's true.
Yes, yes. But but learning to say it's okay, Nicolette. You did not do it the way that it should have been done, but it's okay. You go up to that person and say, okay, I'm sorry, or just be frank. I can't do it. I'm sorry because of this. But don't beat yourself because you can't, especially when it's something that you really care about, or you love about your work, or about basically something significant in your life, family members or whatever, right? So yeah.
I would, I would, I would, I would take it one step further,
Okay.
and know you said that you shouldn't have done. I would take it another step further and know that you had to do it, that it had to happen just as it did. How do we know that? Because it did. And
Mm.
then, right? And then when you
Oh,
walk up to that person
okay.
and you say, hey, I'm really sorry, then you've shifted the world. Because there's so many people that go do these acts and it's like, up, 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 and they do another one, and they do another one, and they do another one, and just go through life just hurting people and hurting themselves. And they, of course, they have a conscious, and maybe before they go to sleep, they say, but that doesn't last too long because the unconsciousness takes over the darkness.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but if you
yeah.
come up and you
Yes,
say you're
yes,
sorry, yeah, but if you
yes.
come up and you say you're
And
sorry to
then you
somebody,
unveil something else, right? It's like, oh, so he said sorry, I said sorry.
and
That's
that
a
person that's the person that's receiving the I'm sorry is going, whoa, she just said she's
I did not
sorry.
I've never experienced this kind of thing in my life before. Like, how am I supposed to react? Like, did it unlock something within me?
Say again.
So, I mean, it's like maybe that person is gonna say, did it unlock something within me
There you
when
go.
I received that sorry? Like, how am I supposed to act in this situation right now?
You don't have to wonder if maybe that is the awakening of the world in process. So if you do that, you don't have to wonder. I've experienced it so many times, from like a guy that's like a parking attendant saying you can't park there, and I say something stupid like, "Hey, do you know who I?" Because I live in this little tiny town, and like it's my place to park, and I kind of get this ego flare up, and then
Yeah, yeah,
afterwards I go back to my car and I'm going, I feel like dirt, like something is, I'm dirty.
yeah.
And I get out of the car and I walk back over and I said, hey man, I'm very sorry for what I just said. Please forgive me. I even do a little ho'oponopono, thank you, and I always say I love you.
Oh,
Don't
no,
walk
you
away.
did one. Hope on.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then you see the person. This is the proof. You see them light up.
Yeah,
That's God at work.
yeah.
That's it right there. When they go, they can't even understand it because it was such a minimal thing. Everybody fights all day long, and it's just, okay, I'm going to argue with this guy, and I'm going to argue with that guy. But then you come back and say, hey, I'm really sorry. I don't want to have this. That was on me. and it
Yeah.
blows them away. So you need not
Yeah.
think, oh, I wonder if he's being, no, that person's being, he or she's being affected, period. And you're changing the world, period. It's happening just like that. And that's how we do it. So as within, so without, right?
As above, so below.
There you go.
Romanticism. Oh my gosh. Okay. So so you are a good speaker for my podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely. Um yeah, you were mentioning the world is currently on the verge of awakening. What do you mean by that? Can you explain it from your perspective?
Well, our character in the book says the world, he always says this, yes, the world is falling apart and waking up at the same time. And,
Mm.
and, and I agree with that 100%. And as you spoke to about how you've had these hard moments where you lose yourself, what's actually happening is it's the capital U universe giving you a push to come back home to it.
I
So,
like how you always say capital. I like
well,
it.
because
Capital
we got
L,
to do it.
capital U. Oh, okay. This is I got you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just saying that as just as if we have a traumatic experience, it really is there to push us back home to capital L love. Period. That's what it's doing. And it's pushing us back to our true self as capital as like the real true self that within us. Now, does it mean that everybody's gonna get that in right away? And like, no,
No,
because
no. Yeah. Then another question. I mean, will they even get it in this lifetime? You see, there's even a
they
question.
may or they may not. They may or they
Yes.
may not, and it's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with you. It's
Of course.
only
It
it's
could be.
only if they're ready. That's what I say. If they're not, everybody's ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I'm in my 50s. I just got ready not too long ago. I know people that are in their 20s that are lit up. I know people that go to their deathbed angry, pissed off, and fighting with everybody. So no, it's. I think it's that thing they call karma. At the end of the day, it's the karmic experience. We're cleaning the karma, cleaning the karma, cleaning the karma, and then the next life, okay, we're going to come back with this. We're going to experience that, and it's perfect. It's not like, oh, poor Jim, he died pissed. No, he had to.
The key, yeah, that was the key word. He had to.
He had
That
to.
was
It's perfect.
that was his journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you said about wokeism. You mentioned wokeism in your profile. Oh my god, I see a lot of memes going around. Woke. Once you're woke, you can never be unwoke again. Like I don't know. Being I think when you're already in that in this path, I wouldn't even want to say. Sometimes I say that I'm enlightened, but I feel guilty for saying that. Like, who am I? Who am I to say that I'm enlightened? But I can say I'm a little bit aware about what's happening. But that's like constant. hmm, It's like push and pull. Am I really aware? But I would like to say that I'm pretty aware than people around me. So yes, and you said it's the disease of our world. What does it mean being woke? And yeah, I'm gonna ask you another question of that, which is kind of important.
Um. So I would say that you and I we are conscious of the conscious path that we are on.
Okay.
Right.
Conscious of the conscious fact that we are. Yes, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll take that.
Maybe the other way to say it is we're conscious of being on the path towards awakening, which means
Mm,
you're awakened.
mm.
Enlightened, no, enlightened is Buddha, enlightened is Christ.
Yeah,
That's the way I look
yeah,
at it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Okay,
no,
okay, yeah.
and many people would say, but we actually are, but we can't see it, which I agree too. The higher self, we picture it up here, but it's not, right? But
Yeah,
it
it's
is
not. It's
it is what we truly are. But we came here kind of as dumbed down version to go through these cycles, and these cycles, and there's a difference between knowingly being on the path. I always just say call it the path, and not even knowing what a freaking path is, and not have never have experienced it, and just living in unconsciousness. And we all came here to do that. The Bible says, and I'm not like I'm a giant Bible follower, but I do like the words in it. We were born into sin, and that means we were just born into duality, the disconnection of one of the absolute truth, which is what, like the baby comes out. That's where it just came from, right? So it's just like,
Yeah.
but we agreed to come out ignorant. So with wokeism, we are experiencing people who are perpetuating and promoting the victimhood mentality through
Really?
their. Yeah, let me tell you what wokeism is. Wokeism is,
Okay.
you've got in the book, the guy calls it the PVT, the parasitic victim triad. That's
All
where you
right.
have your victim. Then you could say it's because of the color of the person's skin. It could be because of their, whatever it is, or just whatever the thing is. And that's a big one, race. So let's say that. You have this person that's maybe a minority. We'll use that word. And then you have the perpetrator, which is going to be whoever that person who, I'll tell you in a second. So there's this supposed perpetrator, and then, and maybe it's just the white man, because that's white males right now. White straight males are really getting the hit right now, right? And then
Yeah.
you've got this person up here, and it can be a white straight male. It doesn't. It could be that. It could be black. It could be any color or anything. But that's the savior that's saying you are bad and you are a victim. And so that parasitic triad just keeps going and going. And you need to keep the victim in play, and you need to keep the perpetrator in place, so that the ego-filled, dirty, gross person that's just in their ego, that has done zero work on themselves in their life, can sit there and go, ha ha ha, look at
Haha,
me,
my
I'm
play is
calling it
going
all out.
great.
That's
Yeah.
wokeism. That's wokeism. And that is infiltrating our planet right now. Now people are starting to go wake up to it and go, wait a minute here. And these companies are starting to back off from all this nuttiness, because companies are behind it, social media,
Yes.
because it's a way to control. It's the way the darkness controls humanity. And we've never seen it at this level before. And that's because of social media. And that's because it's the people are getting it injected into them, into the universities, literally all over the world. It's here in Costa Rica. And you'll know it because you got all these young people who are going around, hey, you didn't call me by my da 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 ha ha. And what you'll notice when someone's woke is there's always something wrong. There's just something wrong constantly. There's never something right. Have you ever noticed that? So that's
Yeah.
wokeism
I mean,
in a
okay.
nutshell.
Wow. Okay, so oh, there's a lot to digest. Okay, because I thought being woke, it's the being conscious of what we like, what we are on right now. Like I thought that was the definition of woke. So actually, wokeism is
Polar opposite. It's a
polar,
polar opposite.
the other
Yeah.
end of the
And
spectrum.
in the book, and in the book, in the first book, no, both books, the hero says that they use the term woke to to uh, to fool us. The darkness use the word woke to fool us all, to think that means awakening. And what's
Yeah.
funny is that the
Yes.
true meaning of wokeism is interesting, right? It was when back in the '60s, when black people started going, wait a minute here, this is, and it was true. It was a good thing then, right? And because like, uh, um, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Look at it that way, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, yeah, right, and
That was
that's
a
what they say, and
that's
I
a
agree with
lyric,
that.
right?
And yeah, and so they took something that was, and even with a lot of the stuff as well, it's like, yeah, we should definitely, it would be great to include and to get better at this, and not be so, and maybe these systems that are inherently have these issues. Yeah, for sure, we need to look at that. But when you stand on this high horse and pissed offness, and you're the one, and you're the good one, and there's and you got to keep that person a victim, you got to keep that a person, and not have any compassion, you're sick. You're working for the darkness. You are done. Now, can you get out of that? I hope so. I believe so. I believe that what's going to happen with a lot of these young people is they're going to be thrown out into the workforce someday when mom and dad die. They got to come out of the basement, or whatever the situation is, and they got to like face the world, and they just keep getting fired and fired, because the model that we live in requires for people to get up, stand up, and become a nice human being, or at least get to work and do what you do. That's the way it is right now, right? And I don't know if that's going to change. They're definitely going to probably come out with this. It's all going to lead into, I believe, what they're pushing for. When I say that the darkness, which is very complicated, it's not like 47 people sitting at a big table. I do not believe that. I'm sure they're definitely part of it, but the complicated workings behind the darkness is pushing for something that we will be in a situation where nothing will run anymore. And then the government or all with the powers that be will come
People
out with
with
a
authority.
stipend that
Yeah. Yeah.
they'll come out with this little stipend, and you'll have a car or a digital whatever, and you'll get your little bit as long as you say what's right. And that's what's coming. That's what they're going to try. Now, I believe that I believe in humanity, and I believe that, I know that we are sovereign beings, like the hummingbird. That's why the hummingbird is a big part of my
I
whole
can
thing
see
there,
that behind you, your background.
Yeah, yeah, well, they're there too. Yeah, oh, yeah, I can
Yeah.
show the book. So yeah, I mean,
I love
we
it.
are we are sovereign individuals in our nature. That's how we were created. Now, what's trying to happen is something the opposite of that, trying to take away that God-given sovereignty. And it's at this moment it looks like it's doing a very good job, and I would say it is. Um, but I believe in humanity. I believe in a global awakening. I don't even believe in it. I'm expecting it. And
Yeah.
that's what I write about, and that's how I speak, and that's what I do. Because otherwise, ooh, things will or could get very, very, very dark on planet Earth. Maybe not.
And
I
then
don't
and
know
then
how.
if when it gets dark, then I think our creator will just wipe it up again
You
and
know,
restart and restart because I don't know, but like you said, I'm also a firm believer of there's always the balance. It's maybe it's tipped to this side already. You can see
no.
because what's up.
If you're in
No.
a lot of my friends are in a bubble, like spiritual people are like, the whole world's already awakened. I'm like, wait a minute. If you go drop yourself down to anywhere USA and take a square block, how many people are talking like you and me? Let me give you a number: zero, right? Maybe point,
No, I wouldn't.
five.
I wouldn't say zero. That would still be people out there. Yeah, maybe a tiny percentage of it. Maybe 1%, two
Yeah,
percent.
zero is probably a little rough. I'm talking about just one square block,
Oh,
40, 50
okay.
families.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
Oh,
many of
yeah. One.
them,
Okay, fine. 1 square block. Yeah, maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
how many of them,
And mm,
how many of them put the alcohol away, kind of put the sports off to the side, not worshiping money, worshiping something else, because if you worship money, you are in big trouble, right? And the system's
yeah,
designed to make us worship money because we don't, there's everything is not enough, not enough. So people get stuck in that lower chakra of survival, and they just
yeah,
more. And if you're doing this, how can you focus on the divine within and without?
yes. How can you reach this level? And yes,
So
I got
so
that
that's
divine tattoo here. I just got a few months ago.
that's why I say that square block, and you drop down, then you start to go, oh, now if you scrub down in that square block, you might see a bunch of people who are waking up to what's happening in the world, because that is happening. People are going, wait a minute,
Yeah.
these people lie so bad. This president is such a dirty liar, and whatever, right? Or like all of our money is going to the military to kill people.
I was just listening to one. Which one was it? Joe Rogan. I was listening to his latest podcast about Maui. So, now I'm hearing. I didn't know the truth about the U.S. and Ukraine, but now I have a little bit of an inkling of what is going on. But okay, let me
Yeah,
see.
the
I don't wanna.
U.S. We're in a proxy war with Russia right now. I mean, wow, great.
Ah,
We're supplying weapons and helping
yeah.
people kill children. I mean, that is what's happening. And that is like so disgusting. And people are starting to right now go, oh, wait a minute. Wow, this president we have is in a war that we don't need to be in with actual Nazis. I mean, the Ukrainian, the people these are horrid. I mean, this is weird. Like what we're in right now, and there's just so many other people, the sheep that are just walking around, go, "Duh, duh, duh. Yep, that's good. Whatever he does is good. This is great. Uh-huh. Oh, killing, it's amazing. Oh, you want to put that in me? Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Oh, what else do I got? Okay. Anything. And it's because they're NPCs. They're non-playing characters. They're just. But again, they have to be in this story somehow, right? And and I believe that some of them, I think there's so many shades of gray in between, and there's so many that are like going scratching their head, going, wait a minute, what's going on here? maybe I'm not going to follow that. Maybe I'm going to stand back and be a little more like, what's going on, and start to make
Neutral,
some.
on neutral ground. Yeah.
That awakening is happening on a bigger scale on that block, on that
Mm.
Anywhere USA block.
And
That's
anyway, you
happening.
said,
Now you
oh,
can pull out of those 50 families, you might be able to have 10 in there that are going, wait a second here, and that's good. But the one that really matters though is the inner awakening, you know,
yeah,
just
yes.
the one that just like, look at how you've been living your life. Remember when you were a kid and how you loved, and what have you become and why? Because you needed to have more, because you think that you keep filling this empty hole, you're going to someday get there and go, okay, I'm done. No,
I'm there. I achieve it. Yes, I'm here now. I'm at top of the world.
you're
No.
there already. You've been there the
Yes.
whole time. And man, hey, the only reason why I can talk like this is because I was one of them. The chasing, the more, the
Oh,
empty
yes,
ghost.
yes, yes. Guilty. But I've forgiven
Yeah, and
myself. I've forgiven
sure,
myself.
everybody. If it's like, oh, when I meet the perfect person, I'll be happy. No, it doesn't necessarily work out that way. You might have happiness for some while. You might get this charge, and this endorphins are going off, and it's beautiful. And loving someone's awesome, and having kids, it's all beautiful. But at some point, you're going to be going like this.
You're gonna,
What's
yeah.
what's next? What's
And
next
the
to fill
worst
the
thing
hole?
is for you to sit with yourself and with your own thoughts. Now that's the most dangerous when people don't. I read a study somewhere. They said if two groups, so one were asked to sit in a room for a short while, and the other one was I think it was given, I know something, a book, and the one that were asked to sit with themselves, nothing, no distractions, they cannot, they asked to leave the room. So it's just, it's
That's that's because they're not present, and that they can't. It's hard for them to be present because then the horror of whatever's speaking in here and all the fear and all the stuff is going to come out, and they don't want to go there. So they don't. It's not only just sitting in a room; they have to be addicted to something. So the reason why they can't sit in
that.
a room is because they're addicted to doing. I got to keep
Yes.
busy. Got to keep busy. Got to keep busy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you see
What's the next
how many
thing I need to,
housewives in the United States, that's over here and job there, and they're doing that. It's not that there's anything wrong with doing whatever you're doing, but if you're addicted to it and you
I'm
can't
gonna
sit in the room, you
publish
don't
this,
even
it's
know it.
okay, right? I'm
Huh?
gonna publish this podcast, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And most of my, about 30% of my listeners are in the US. So, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And there's, we also came here to experience physicality and the doing, right? There's no doubt
Yeah.
about that. And so there's
I mean,
nothing
yeah,
wrong.
we're in 3D world, of course, we have to do. But the, 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 the balance, right? Like, there's always duality to it. More balance. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so since you said about wokeism, what is your opinion on this? We are in the matrix.
We're definitely in a matrix.
Definitely in the matrix.
I mean, come on.
Matrix came out when I was, let me see, young, about 10 years old, 8 years old. So, so at that time, I didn't understand what was it about until just recently, a few years ago, when I rewatched it. I mean, after what happened too. So yeah. So would you say right now we are in a matrix?
We've
Definitely.
always been in the matrix. We were born into a matrix. I mean, I say in our lifetimes and beyond, before. And know that movie, the way I'd look at it, that movie was a documentary, not a fiction. That's how I look at it. And actually, our Matrix is much worse than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. It's,
Okay.
I mean, it's not when they peel it back and you see, the ruins of the world and all that, maybe not, but it's what makes it worse in a way is that it's real, and that there are players out there that are playing this role, and we're playing the role, and the doom that the matrix is pushing for. And let's just be clear, we're talking about the darkness, the entity of darkness, which has all these different names, from Lucifer to Satan to Watiko. um, there's just so many different words for the unexplainable. You can, I mean, we can kind of explain it, but we can't. Just like God, also, it's unexplainable to really say what that is. But and it's very complicated, and it's very intelligent, and it has a hold of this planet in a
Yeah.
way, right? Now, again, the light always will outshine the dark, but we believe in the concept of time, so we're worried. We're like, it better happen before I die, and I don't want to be in the lake of
Yes,
fire.
yes, yes, yes. That happened before I die. That's so true.
And
Okay.
there's no way. And you said earlier, like that the universe could just come in and go click. And there's a lot of people, and the Bible talks about that. The What is it? The book of the book of the raw material, they call it, the book of one.
Yeah.
It all has us a shift happening that's beyond our say so. We'll say, like, it just bam. I don't because that hasn't happened, and I'm not standing in front of it. I'm going to say instead, we need to be responsible, and we need to get this planet juiced up with positivity and high vibration, higher frequency, connection to the highest, that is working through us, running through us, is not separate than us. We are part of it for sure. And connect more people, then frequency wise the planet will change like that. And so that's what I see. I don't know about, I have a lot of friends, oh no, there's just going to be this big solar flash, and then these people are going to be transported over here, these unconscious people, and then we're going to stay on planet Earth, who's going to go in the fourth dimension, then eventually the fifth. I don't know. I love the idea, beautiful, but I haven't seen that yet. So I have to be more pragmatic and say, no, we're responsible. We're going to do this, and if that's going to happen, that's going to help us more. Great, and I don't even know what's going to happen in my third book. Like, I don't know if it's going to be something big and mystical like that, or if it's a combination of two. Because I haven't written. I don't have anything to do. I just sit down and boom. I listen in life, and I hear people say things, and it goes into this thing. And I'll take some notes, and then at some point it'll form into a story where this does happen somehow, possibly. I don't know. I believe that's what's going to happen. We'll see.
Well,
And then I'd probably end having to write about it after that, because I would.
yes.
I kind of want to keep the fiction going all the way to book 20. No.
Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, please go. Well, it would be nice if they could just, transform into a movie. I'm rooting for you.
Only problem is Hollywood would never. Well, I shouldn't say would never, because the world's changing so quickly. But
Exactly. So don't cancel them out yet.
no, and of course they are at the root of this stuff in a lot of ways. But there's also these other platforms like Angel Studios.
You're
They're
really
doing.
calling out. You're really calling out your. Were you born in the U.S.?
Huh?
Were you born in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, California. Yeah.
Oh, California. You told me. Okay. So, we were talking about. I think we did touch a little bit about the world. No, we touched a lot about the world. So, and if it's an individual, right, on an individual level, what does a shift? What? How would an individual feel there's a shift in themselves in your own personal experience?
The biggest thing is that fear goes away. That's one of the big things. And I believe that when people finally realize, and I I'm not really into the believing thing, but I understand that people sometimes have to believe and have faith. But I would actually really like people to experience, like to be able to say, no, I don't believe that I'm eternal. I absolutely know it. That's where I sit. I have zero doubt that some experience will exist within this thing called me, that's not this,
Yeah,
in some
yeah,
awareness for eternity. When you can do that, and it's real, and it comes from in here, and it's then your fear goes away, and now you're able to play in life more, and to somehow find the connection to capital L love, Call it what you want. There's no words to describe it. God.
Yes, agree.
And just know that it, somehow find that, to know that that love is what's coming through you, that that's what you are. You hear my words. If something's going, this is interesting. That's it right there. That's it. That's the knock on the door that it's doing. And there's other people too, obviously, that you might hear say something, and whatever it is that you're, what's bringing you, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. It's just not the moment, and
Yeah.
and if it comes, it comes. Don't try, wanting something. You don't need to want this. This is already in you, And I think that when when that happens, you have this different way of living. You reach this place of bliss, and you live in bliss. Doesn't mean that when your dog dies you're torn apart and you bawl and you cry, or in some tragic event happens and you're hurt, or somebody leaves you. It's terrible. No, what happens is that you first of all, you know that it's going to pass, like, it for sure, and you still go through the crying, and you let yourself go through this emotional release, and you also realize that somehow this is connected to the beauty of capital L love, that it's all supposed to be this way, and that there's beauty in your suffering somehow, and that's what it feels like. And then it brings you out of the victimhood state. That's it. The key is to not be a victim and to realize that this is supposed to happen. But my dad did. It was supposed to be that way. It's time to say, I'm sorry for blaming you, dad, or mom, or girlfriend, or whatever it is. The world, this president that you're blaming. This is the insane one, right? I blame the president. I blame this. I mean, I do look at the situation and go, wow, this one is really fucking stupid, right? I do. Sorry. That's might bleep that out. That's the first time I've cussed on the camera, I think. But
Okay, I'm gonna put explicit on this episode, but it's
yeah, it's not that you don't notice these things. It's just that you don't let them weigh on you as much. Because imagine, even though you've got all these players doing this stuff, and if you're somebody sitting there going, "Oh, I can't believe they're doing this. It's so terrible." Well, now where are you? You're in the same vibration, so it's drawn you into the same frequency as the players that are doing these acts, that are walking around with their sign and doing this, like, negative, like, whatever it is, wanting to control children, wanting to control your life or your money, or take it away and turn it into this so you don't have your freedom. Once, if you're in it going, oh, I just hate, hate, hate. Oh, well, guess what? You're right where they are. You guys are
you're
now in the
fueling them,
same.
basically.
You're in it. You're fueling them. You're feeling it. You're also feeling it within yourself and the people around you and the world. So when that feeling of having an awakening is that where you kind of go, wow, okay, how am I going to perceive this? Know that it's supposed to happen. Can you do something about it? Sure. Raise your vibration. Play, in the book, the guy talks about choosing your role. What is going to be your role? Look at my role. I'm whatever I'm doing this stuff here, but somebody else might not. It might just be to be the best plumber in the world. If you're a plumber, like this is say, right? Or an electrician or whatever it is, you're the best. When you meet these people, hey, and you make sure that when you do that job that they go, God, that guy was great. And not only is that going to help you with your business, but you're there, changing everything. Just like we talked about with that little apology thing. That's not little; it's huge. So choose your role. Where are you going to be? Yeah, and it's much easier to be present and awake. Present meaning I'm here with you right now, talking. I'm not like, oh my God, oh, it's going to be so good when, or it was so better then, it was so terrible then, whatever it is. I'm here, right here. Are these things happening on them? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Is it going to affect me? I have no idea. I have no idea. We'll
Yeah.
see what comes next. When it does, I'll be prepared. And am I going to come up and say, no, 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 you're not doing that with me. No, I'm not putting, nope, no. And that's not happening. I can do that. Yeah. And if that means someday, like, oh, boom, I'm gone because it gets really weird, well, that's okay. I did my best. And you have to, like, I feel like you have to get that. And then, you know, expect a miracle. And then I would say you are the miracle. We are the miracle.
Yeah, we are in her. Wow. I'm gonna snip that and put it on my Instagram.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Snip that part.
Share
Yes.
that with me.
I'm gonna snipping a few sections of this interview. So I'm gonna tag you. So just you, yeah.
Thank you.
You're gonna-
Yeah, we'll put it up on our thing. Yeah.
yes.
I don't do that. Somebody else knows about that stuff. I barely look at Instagram. Yeah.
That's okay. So okay, so as far as spiritual and philosophical leaders go, who has influenced you the most and
Oh,
why? I know we talked about
philosophical,
them this now, but then yeah.
philosophical. Jordan Peterson at the moment.
Jordan Peterson, really? Wow. Okay.
Big fan.
Big fan.
And I don't know. I mean, Charles Eisenstein. You could call him a philosopher for sure. Eckhart Tolle, I'm the spiritual leader, number one for me, like always.
Okay.
And I like what Michael Bernard Beckwith says. There's some things he says that are great. Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, I like Christian leaders, even though I'm not really. I'm in everything. I'm a Christian, I'm a Buddhist, whatever you want to call me. But like, I like some of them. Like I like Joel Osteen. I mean, I think his message is beautiful, and I'm not one of these people. Oh, but he didn't do this, and he didn't. Oh, fuck. Come on, man. Nor did you,
Yeah,
by the way.
I'm
You didn't do everything
thinking.
perfect in life. But I listened to the message. If he's flawed,
Yes.
we're all flawed, and he would admit that too. So
There's this thing I remember reading somewhere. You don't look at the messenger, you look at the message.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So, why do you think struggles are an important part of human experience and how can they teach us? Struggle cannot be misconstrued as suffering, because suffering isn't an option. You see?
Yeah, so say it again. Why do you think struggles what?
Why do you think struggles are an important part of the human experience and what can they teach us? You have a cat too?
I got a bunch
oh
of
my cat. Yeah, he's laying there now. Okay.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, no, I was saying, why do you think struggles are an important part of the human experience?
And the second part?
And what can they teach us?
Oh, well, like it's kind of touched on before, is that the struggles are, I believe, are. What would it be like if there were none? Ask that question instead. How boring would planet Earth be? Right?
Yes.
So they could teach us that they're supposed to be here and that we're supposed to overcome them somehow. Or not, and we don't overcome them, we fall to them, I guess. But if you do fall, then guess what's going to happen? Then you're going to go into suffering mode. So the struggle is there for you to overcome and to come out on the other side of it as the light warrior that you are. And if you succumb and let it get the best of you and break you, then you will live in suffering. And that's that's what we don't want to do anymore. And I believe that when these things happen, and they can lead us to different types of transformational experiences and awakenings, and I believe that they're there for that.
Okay. All right. So, would you say that the ideas in your books are rather controversial?
To some, yeah, to many. But I think what happens is when people read my book, it's kind of, I did it like, especially the first book is it's very ninja style. Like it comes in very like like you don't know, it's just action and drama and all these things are happening and this guy's going through the stuff, and it sort of sneaks its way into you to pull yourself out of the victimhood mentality. And some people I've heard have thrown the book across the room and pissed off, and they're
Really?
pulled to it.
They
They're
tell you.
pulled
They
to at
tell you.
some yeah, they're pulled to at some point, pick it up and keep reading it, because you're going to face yourself if you read the book, period. That is going to happen.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. You're going
Yeah.
to have to face yourself if you read the book.
Just
Woo.
no way out. Yeah.
And if you're ready, you can go
And
ahead.
if you're ready,
Yeah.
you'll keep
If you're
reading.
not, you're gonna toss that book around and then sit with yourself for a few days and then maybe pick it back again on okay, whatever it is, I gotta go and
I had a friend. I had a
just
friend who was going through something really, really hard with his ex, with their children, and he threw it across the room. And 3 months later, he picked it up, and it helped him a lot. He sent me a nice message, and um, I get messages like that too from other people, and it's normal, right? Because it does kind of knock you on the head, like in a really weird way, like where you just can't. Because what you're doing is you're
wake
going,
up. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you're going through the experiences, kind of experiences that we all have with the character, and the character is narrating. Each character narrates their own chapter. There are three of them in this first book, and in the
Mm.
second book there's six. So
Okay.
so that person is questioning what this guy's telling them and these kind of answers to their problems, and they're like, wait a minute, no, and they resist, just like the one would resist that might be reading a self-help book or something like that. And so we see the narrator ask all the questions, deny, get pissed off, and come back home and come back around. And then you can't help but you too, happening to you too, if there's some of these things, which there are, which because it's very, there's all kinds of things that we all go through, and there's quite a few of them in these books, including the woke person on book two.
Amazing. I was just looking already, like, where can I buy it? It's in Amazon. I'll definitely will be getting
Yeah, I
myself
mean,
a
it's
copy.
also digital. Like if you have a Kindle, you
Yeah,
can, because
yeah,
I know you're
yeah.
in another part of the world.
Yeah, like a digital one. You said you were doing Audible, right? But Audible is audio book. Okay.
Audible, yeah, is on this book, the first book only, and then we're starting the second book. So you can listen to the first book right now, and it's done really, really well. The guys that narrated, I narrated one guy, but the other guys do. We all do. It sounds good. It's like being in a movie. It's pretty trippy.
Okay. Amazing. So okay, why? What do you do to keep yourself grounded?
I'm probably one of the most grounded people, and I'm a Taurus. I'm just feet on the ground.
Wait, let me
I
get. You are fire sign. No, maybe air sign.
Taurus,
Oh,
Taurus,
you're Taurus. Okay, okay.
yeah. And I don't
Taurus,
know. I'm not.
Taurus is Taurus is grounded. Taurus is supposed
Oh
to be
yeah,
grounded,
I,
and
I'm
and
extremely grounded. Yeah,
perhaps
yeah. No,
perhaps
I don't
perhaps you
have to
have
do
a lot
anything.
more. Perhaps you have a lot more Earth signs in your birth chart. Probably that's why.
Probably, yeah. I'm very grounded, and I keep my conversation alive with the one, and always speaking to it, always talking, always asking it or thanking in advance for what's coming, and naming those things out. And instead of like asking, you don't ask, you don't want, you just say thank you in advance for this, and yeah, it works phenomenally well. And yeah, I'm pretty grounded. I have to say that. Most people say that about me. I'm also very direct, and I always tell people what I if they ask me, like, hey, I'm just like boom, like there's very little messing around if they're okay with that.
Do you have a mantra that you live by?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably have many. Um,
Mantras, yeah. I
God
like.
first. It really is that, and it's so weird for me to say this because I was raised an atheist, and before I had a big experience that really, wow, and it shifted things. And before I knew this, and I don't mean like God first go out and push people and tell them that they're not, if you don't do this, never. Anybody who does that is working for the opposite, honestly. Oh, if you don't say these things, you're burning in it. What are you, insane? You're burning right now for saying that. I mean, you're living in hell if you're sitting there above another trying to talk down to somebody. It's not about that. This is just personal to me. Like, if I put that number one in my life, and that's really like the tough one for a lot of people, because we're in this matrix program of there's not enough. There's not enough food. There's not enough love. There's not enough space. There's not enough air. There's not enough money. There's not enough food. Any of it. There's just not enough love. It's like, and so like everyone's like, and everyone's like in this freak out mode. They don't. I
Yes.
mean, maybe it doesn't look like that, but it's like I keep doing that. Okay,
Inside, yeah, I
well,
gotta. Oh my god, yeah, I gotta stay afloat. Like, oh,
so
I gotta stick with it. Yeah.
how can you connect? If that's where you're at. So yeah, for me, that just comes first in my life, and then what happens then is you become in service. It's just natural, and not in service that you have to tell everybody. I'm in service. I'm in, like a lot of woo-woo people say. No, it's just natural. You don't. All you are now working for humanity. This is what happens, and so I don't know mantra. Yeah, I guess that's the one. I also like this too shall pass. I use that
This
one
is
quite
so bad.
often.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
things
this is
get
so.
really, really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Really hard. And it's gonna pass, Mike. It's gonna pass. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, last question: if you could have or create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and to the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Oh, geez. That's putting me on the spot.
Oh, sorry.
Well, because I don't know if I have a. Well, maybe I'll just pull out, make it easy on myself. I'll pull out the quote from.
Sorry for throwing you under the bus right now.
Well, so I'll just tell you. I mean, because I have the. By the way, the my character has many quotes, and we put them online and stuff. I think he says something about change your perception, and you not only change your life, but the world in front of you, or something like that. He says, but like this one says, this is like George Orwell. I mean, I really like it, and this is just from the second book. He says, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. So
Oh, okay, that seals the deal, Mike. You
I'm
got
glad you
it.
like that
Like
because that's not mine. That's
something spoke to you just now. Seriously, like you were fidgeting around trying to find it, and then boom, that was
so I'm going to
that was
open this book, the first one, and I'll give you the quote from Albert Einstein, which is also a good one.
okay. Okay.
These are other people's. I have quotes. I just can't remember right now because you put me on the spot. I should have them in here, like on my board or something. That's a good. I learned from this today. Let's see here. Oh, where the hell is it?
What was it just now?
Okay,
In a world of deceit, truth is revel the most revolutionary act that you can.
it's George Orwell. Yeah, it says. Oh, well, here's my dedication. It's kind of fun. It says, this is number book 2. It says, this book is dedicated to the great tellers of truth with a capital T, the seers as well as the seekers. The time to stand and take back our world is upon us. That's book 2. That's my quote. That's my dedication. And so the George Orwell, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Then in book 1, the dedication, or not the dedication, the quote that I took from Albert Einstein. It says, I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. It's about as
Mic
heavy as it gets.
mic drop.
Oh, mic drop.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Mike. Thank you so much. I think that pretty much wraps up everything and that sums up our session today. I really, really enjoyed our conversation. When I came, I was like kind of nervous, but I said, you know what? I'm just going to have fun today. It's going to be a great interview.
Do that every time, and it'll always work.
Yeah.
I had
Okay,
fun too. Thank you for having.
likewise. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, Michael. So I will be tagging you when this comes out, maybe in the next few weeks' time. And then let's keep in touch.
Okay, and you'll probably edit this out, but can we get whatever you have so that we can post stuff too?
Okay, okay. Yeah, sure. I will
If you
I
can,
will take it out then. Then yeah.
if you can
Do
send
you do
files,
you,
or
do
if
you
you
want
edit
it
something, just send
yeah,
us whatever.
okay, do you want it like immediately? Because normally I post my podcast episodic basis. So yours would be probably in a few weeks time. So
No,
if you want
whenever you have
oh
a chunk, If you want to give
Right.
it to me, or if it's easy just to send the whole thing, do it. My girl will chunk some stuff out of it and get people ready for the whole one. So whatever you can
Okay.
send it. And her Julie is her name. I think you're in contact with her. I
Julie,
hope, but
yeah,
if
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I've been in contact with Julie. So okay, I'll be in touch with her then.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and we'll say a proper goodbye, so you can edit this in and take out
Oh,
what we just
okay,
said. All right.
okay, yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, Michael, for your session, for this session today. I had a wonderful, enlightening, eye-opening time with you. It's like finally somebody I can talk to things like this. Like I don't really get to talk to people like this that often. So, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. And I think what you're doing, is really phenomenal. And I hope our listeners, your listeners too, can follow that path one step at a time.
What we're doing, by the way, we are doing. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. I'll
Thank you.
see you
Namaste.
soon. Namaste.
All
Okay.
right. Take
Yeah.
care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.